Hello everyone and welcome to our channel MedStudy. Today in this video we are going to see about examination of gastrointestinal tract. So first coming to general examination. Coming to hands, we have to look for clubbing, pallor, leukonychia, koilonychia that is concave shaped nails, palmar erythema, asterixis which is seen in hepatic encephalopathy, renal failure, respiratory failure and severe cardiac failure. This image shows leukonychia, the second image shows koilonychia, third image shows palmar erythema, and the last image shows asterixis. Now going to face, we have to examine for presence of pallor, icterus, facial puffiness. We have to examine oral cavity for ulcers, glossitis, angular stomatitis. We have to assess odor of patient's breath for fetor hepaticus, that is sweet musty odor, ketosis, that is fruity odor. In neck, we have to palpate the lymph nodes, especially Virchow's node, that is Troussier's sign. There is enlarged left supraclavicular lymph node suggestive of gastrointestinal tract malignancy, lymphoma, and breast cancer. Now coming to signs of hepatic failure. This includes alopecia, jaundice, fetor hepaticus, palmar edema, and dubtitrans contracture as seen in this image, menstrual irregularities, loss of secondary sexual characters, and bilateral testicular atrophy. Now, signs of hepatic encephalopathy include asterixis, constructional apraxia, irritability, and confusion. Now, going to gynecomastia. The firm tissue concentric with nipple areolar complex, more than 2 centimeters, is suggestive of gynecomastia. The image shows gynecomastia. Now, coming to spider nevi. These are prominent red spots on chest, usually clustered together. This consists of a central arteriole with radiating thin-walled vessels. Compression of central vessel produces blanching, and when released, the thread-like vessels quickly refill. More than 5 such are significant. This image shows spider nevi. Now coming to inspection. We have to inspect the abdomen in 9 abdominal quadrants. These include right hypochondriac, epigastric, left hypochondriac, right lumbar, umbilical, left lumbar, right iliac region, hypogastric region, and left iliac region. Now we have to look for any scars: appendicectomy scar, fenestrial incision scar, midline incision scar, inguinal incision scar. Then we have to inspect the shape. Normal shape is slightly scaphoid and symmetrical. We have to look for any localized mass or distension. We have to look for generalized abdominal distension as in fat, which is obesity, fluid, which is ascites, fetus, flatulence, that is bowel obstruction, and feces. We have to look for the shape of umbilicus, whether it is normal, inverted, everted as in umbilical hernia. We have to look for superficial veins. Prominent superficial veins are seen in inferior vena cava obstruction, superior vena cava obstructions, and portal hypertension. In portal hypertension, the flow is away from umbilicus. In inferior vena cava obstruction, flow is in cephalic direction, and in superior vena cava obstruction, flow is in caudal direction. Now coming to caput medusae. These are engorged or distended veins in anterior abdominal wall flowing away from the umbilicus. These are seen in inferior vena cava obstruction. We have to inspect skin for striae gravidarum, purple striae which are seen in Cushing syndrome, Cullen's sign, that is bluish discoloration of the periumbilical region seen in hemorrhagic pancreatitis, epigastric pulsations is suggestive with abdominal aortic aneurysm, visible peristalsis is suggestive of pyloric obstructions and small bowel obstruction. This image shows purple striae, that is Cushing syndrome. This image shows striae gravidarum. This is the Cullen's sign, and this is Gray Turner's sign. Now coming to palpation. We have to palpate the patient with in supine position with slight flexion at knee and hip joint. We have to look at patient's face for any sign of discomfort during the palpation. General palpation, we have to do light palpation followed by deep palpation. We have to look for rebound tenderness, that is Bloomberg's sign. Pain at an area when the examiner removes pressure from the palpating hand rapidly. It is seen with peritonitis, appendicitis, and abdominal abscess. Browsing sign. Palpation in the left iliac fossa causes pain in the right iliac fossa. It is seen in appendicitis. Guarding, resistance to palpation due to contraction of abdominal muscles due to tenderness and anxiety. Rigidity is involuntary reflex contracture of abdominal muscles due to tenderness. It is seen due to peritonitis. Now palpation of liver. Place the right hand in right iliac fossa parallel to the inferior border of liver and progress upwards with each cycle of respiration. Liver is clinically palpable after enlarging 2 to 2.5 times the normal size. Palpation of spleen. Palpate from right iliac fossa to left iliac fossa by right hand such that fingers point towards the left hypochondriac region. Spleen is clinically palpable after enlarging about 3 times the normal size. Palpation of the kidney. Place both the hands on lumbar region, one on anterior abdominal wall and one on posterior abdominal wall. Palpate with the hand on anterior abdominal wall while the posterior hand supports. There is slight movement of kidney can be noticed as slipping of mass between the two hands. Now coming to percussion. First includes fluid thrill. Patient's ulnar border of hand is placed in the midline. One side of the abdomen is tapped by the examiner. The other side of hand placed on opposite side feels for transmitted thrill, which indicates positive test. It is seen when the fluid is 1500 ml or more. Horseshoe dullness. The percussion is carried out from xiphisternum downwards to the point of dullness, which is noted. Similarly, we have to percuss from xiphisternum to each point on both sides. Thus, we get a horseshoe-shaped area demarcating the levels of ascitic fluid. It is seen when the fluid is 1000 ml or more. Shifting dullness. Percuss from umbilicus and go laterally to the plank. When the examiner notices a site of dullness on the plank, he makes patient to turn to the opposite side. While doing so, he keeps the pleximeter on the abdomen at the site of dullness. After waiting for 1 minute, he percusses on the same side again. If he gets a tympanic note, this indicates a positive test, and it is seen when the fluid is 500 ml or more. Auscultation. You have to auscultate for bowel sounds. Patient is auscultated in supine position using diaphragm of stethoscope. Auscultate around the umbilicus for about 2 minutes. There are characteristic giggling sounds due to peristaltic activity of the gut. Normal rate is 3 to 5 per minute. Hyperactive sounds are seen in intestinal obstruction, gastroenteritis, diarrhea, and gastrointestinal bleed, while reduced sounds are seen in constipation, paralytic ileus, and hypokalemia. Other sounds include arterial bruit, which is seen in renal artery stenosis and vascular tumors of liver, venous hum, which is seen in portosystemic shunt over liver and umbilicus, succussion splash, which is seen in gastric outlet obstruction, and splenic rub, which is seen in splenic abscess and splenic rupture. So this concludes with the examination of gastrointestinal tract. I hope you liked the video. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will never miss an update. Thank you.